episode 2 of It's Like That in Madison, Wisconsin. We are here to talk about all things real estate and everything that we like to do here in Madison. Yep. I'm Tiffany Tobias with Start Company Realtors.
Jannea Wood, Start Company Realtors.
And Katie Kolakowski with City RE.
So today we are excited because we're going to talk about everything that we like to do here in Madison, whether that be outdoors, inside, what have you, over the summertime.
Yes.
But first, before we get started, we wanted to, sometimes we're going to do market facts, sometimes we'll go through different things, and today we wanted to talk a little bit about definitions of some real estate terms that sometimes we're seeing getting maybe a little bit confused. So the first one we're going to address is the pre-qualification versus the pre-approval letter. Mm-hmm. So do you guys find that there's some confusion on those two?
Well, I will admit, I got them confused in the beginning too. So I think those are two really good things to go over because one's much more important than the other when it comes to making offers.
Mm-hmm. So when you get started with your home purchase, a lot of times you're going to go online, right? You're going to try to get an idea of what does my budget look like? What is it that I can spend? And you're not necessarily going to go pick up the phone or go to a lender directly. What we're seeing is that when a lot of clients come to us or customers come to us, they have a pre-qualification letter. They don't necessarily have a pre-approval letter. So the pre-qualification letter would be something that's a little bit less formal. It's something that you've self-reported. So you've kind of put your income in there. You've kind of maybe adjusted things. You kind of have an idea what your current debt might be. But it's really not looked at in fine detail by a lender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think of it like the Rocket Mortgage kind of spitting out online type letter. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. And I think even with our local lenders, you can go on and kind of get a pre-qual letter, right, to help you with your budget. But when it comes down to it, it's if you haven't talked to somebody and you're wanting to put an offer in, it's not necessarily the best tool.
Right.
Yeah, pre-approval letter, you're definitely going to be taken a little bit more seriously. Sometimes things are underwritten, but a lender has definitely looked a lot more in depth at your credit score, your income, and really honed in on the proper price point for you and your family.
Yeah, I appreciate people going online, doing a quick application so they have an idea, but I do always advise, please talk to the lender, really have them look at things in depth because we're going to need the pre-approval if we're even thinking about an offer.
And I feel like you just don't want to be in a situation, I never want to put my clients, I know you all are in the same position of where we're looking at things that we either can't afford or are going to create a situation where we're overextending our budget or we can't do fun things like vacation or get new shoes from time to time. So we just really want to look out and make sure that everyone's protected in that situation.
Yep.
All right, so the best of the two is the pre-approval. Mm-hmm. That means that they're probably going to do a hard credit check with you. The lender's going to go through, they're going to verify all your information, and then they're going to hand you that piece of paper that's going to give us the credibility to write that offer and show those potential sellers that you are absolutely ready to go for the purchase price that you're writing the offer at.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Agreed.
Yep.
It's unanimous.
You got to do some extra work in submitting your financial documents, right? That's really the difference between the two as well. You just gotta do it. Mm-hmm. It's important.
But when you want that house, it's the way to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. The second two definitions that we see sometimes people get confused are the difference between an assessment and an appraisal. Mm-hmm. So I think every year we get our assessment on our property values. And the assessment is really, it's assigned value from the city that's coming to you about your property value, right? So it's saying this is the value of your property because they want to pretty much figure out what's your tax burden going to be. How much is your house? How much are we considering the fair market value of your house? So we can say this is going to be your tax burden. And I say burden because obviously
taxes
it is.
Every time it comes, it's a burden.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times when we talk to sellers and we talk to buyers and they talk about the word assessment and people see the assessment of the property online, they automatically think every time we're talking about appraisal that we're kind of talking about that value. Mm-hmm. But the difference is when we're talking about appraisal, a lot of times we're talking about maybe a contingency that we're putting on in an offer to purchase, but the appraisal is not necessarily, it's not coming from the city. It has nothing to do with the city. The appraisal is going to be a third party that's independent of the buyer and the seller, that's going to come in and assign a value to the property to say, is this property worth what you're purchasing for? And it has nothing to do with anyone else except for the opinion of that certified appraiser who's essentially coming in and taking a look to say this is the value of the property. And they do that by looking at other comparables in the neighborhood, other properties that are maybe similar in quality, similar in size, similar in location, certainly. And that's the way that we can take a look and see that your property is appraised close to what you're purchasing for.
Yeah, and I feel like banks use this because they want to make sure if you default or don't pay your loan that they will be able to recoup the value of their home. And so it's really important, especially if you're having a loan, that you expect this portion of the process. There's other ways that we can go into depth on another episode about appraisal waivers or, appraisal buffers. However, 9 times out of 10, if you have a loan, expect there to be an appraisal process.
And I think knowing assessment doesn't equal appraisal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the assessment is usually at least a year behind that they're looking at things. They're looking at your neighborhood. They're not looking at the type of house, how many
Like a
rooms,
ranch
your
to a
square
ranch.
footage. They're
Correct.
also going to look at sales, but as a lump and sort of a percentage that things have maybe gone up. And so everybody gets assessed maybe a similar percentage versus the appraisal is truly looking at the market value of that particular home based on like homes that have recently sold.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to separate the two.
All right.
The assessment's associated with the taxes, so that's the one that's like,
Yeah, we all got that
Yeah.
just recently.
Yeah.
And that in the city has been going up year after year. You can appeal. Talk to your realtor. We can help with that too.
Yeah, and I always tell my clients, when the assessments come out, you do have a short window, and if you have any questions about your home value, that's what we're here for too.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to the fun stuff.
All right, so favorite things to do in Madison here in the summer.
Yes.
Because we are in the thick of it right now, so Jannea,
You want me to
yeah,
do
let's
this thing?
kick
All
it
right.
off. Kick off.
Well, so a lot of this came from this great article that Destination Madison put out about 30 things to do this summer. So while I can have my own ideas, it was just really nice to take a look at that and remember. So one of my favorite things might not be everyone's favorite thing. It's more quiet, but it's going to the gardens in the area. And a lot of people might think Old Brick because it's huge and you've got the beer garden across the street. But I've got 2 favorite gardens that are walkable, really from my place downtown. One's a little farther than the other. But there's a place called Period Garden it's at 110 East Gorham Street in Madison, Wisconsin. And this area was in the 70s going to be built into apartments. And the neighborhood saved the lot and developed it into a garden. And to this day, it's run by volunteers. And it looks like a garden out of Savannah or South Carolina. It almost doesn't fit our Wisconsin climate. And it has this beautiful weeping mulberry tree that you can walk under and a fountain. So it's just one of those quiet places you can go and just feel like you found a gem in the city that nobody knows about unless you're actually walking by it. You won't see it if you're driving by.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, I need to go now.
And so a lot of people think it's private and belongs to the houses that are next door because it's in the historic Mansion Hill district, but it's not. It's public. So that's one.
Okay, wait, one question. Can you bring your dog?
Dogs aren't allowed. However, dogs in a stroller have not been detected yet. So Rufus has come.
Insider tip.
Right, so Rufus has come and he sat and, they can't say anything. He's in a stroller.
Right.
So that was one of my just sort of gems in Madison, Wisconsin to check out in the summer.
Yeah, I hope we just didn't blow your cover just now.
No, they're going to keep an eye out for me.
I enjoy sporty features of Madison outside in the summer. My boyfriend and I, we enjoy playing in the sand volleyball leagues, and so we play at quite a couple places. Here in Madison, we enjoy 10 Pin Bowling Alley. They have some fantastic courts. Kiva does as well. That's on the west side of Madison. And then we sneak down once a week to Christie's Landing and play outside there too, which I know ties in with the whole boating theme and the lakes. But I really enjoy anything on the trails also too. So biking or hiking. So Ice Age Trail is a great place. Ice Age just intertwines with so many neighborhoods here in Madison too. And then there's Military Ridge, which intertwines with a lot of neighborhoods as well on the west side. But there's fantastic trails even on the east side too. And then also recently we went to a Mallards game and the duck blind. So all you can eat and all you can drink, and sometimes we may watch the game, sometimes we don't. It's more about that social aspect, but that's really fun. The Madison Forward soccer games I try to make and go out, once a year, and that's in downtown as well. So there's just, I don't know, I really enjoy the sports aspect of it, and I know, we're always working on recruiting and more teams and more things to do, but just biking, hiking, and playing outside.
For Forward Madison, did they have the parade going down East Washington when you went to the game? Usually they would do that before the game, like all just...
So the last one I went to last summer was for Father's Day. They didn't have the parade, but they had an awesome Crocs giveaway. So it was socks and Crocs, and so that was the big driver. And so we got flamingo socks and flamingo colored Crocs that I still rock from to this day. And so ESPN was there. ESPN2 was filming the game for that one. But I did hear about the parade, and there's a lot of watch parties that they host as well for European soccer or European football. So that's always a fun thing for me to do in Madison.
After just watching Ted Lasso, it makes me want to go see more Forward soccer games. I know I'm way behind the times on that. That's a totally different subject. But I'm like, so many years behind. So
I actually went to the women's softball, the Nightmares game.
Oh, nice. Yes,
over
I remember
at
that.
the Mallard Stadium. And that was so fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit of a shorter field, and it just felt like there was a little bit more action. I mean, in my opinion, I love baseball in general, but just that whole area over there, there's always something to do. Like you said, you don't necessarily have to watch.
I just love their name because as a female athlete, the Nightmares, and it's like a stallion, so it's like a night, but at the same time, like it could be somebody's nightmare. Like I just really love that name for female sports, and I love their logo. So I was a big fan when I saw that come in.
Yeah, those are fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was telling you guys. I don't know if it was in the last couple of weeks. It was one Saturday that when you mentioned Christie's Landing, I was thinking about this. There was one Saturday, and I was thinking of like how many choices of things that we had to do on that one day in Madison, and it was like there was a festival over at Marquette Park, there was music, there was a jazz fest over at the Memorial Union, there was a festival in Cottage Grove, there was a bike ride, like a Lake Loop bike ride, and then Christie's Landing was having like an annual thing, and I was like, what? I mean, we are so blessed to live in a community that you have that many choices of things to do in one day, like, and you're almost like, well, which way do I go? And you kind of have to commit, right? Because all these things are full day. But that's one of my favorite things, is just the festivals and like the live music in Madison. I feel like if you're looking for a live music literally any of the 7 days of the week, and you go on to look, you will find things going on downtown.
So Wednesdays, concerts on the square.
That's what I was going to say. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then night markets are Thursday nights. I think there's music at the top of the square now for those.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
right?
I think sometimes there's some going on. And then I know the Bodega Festival, which is over
Bree Stevens.
I was going to say, I'm thinking forward.
Yeah.
Bree Stevens, that happens, every other month, I think, right now.
I think
they have some music. The East Side Club, I love going there because they have a little tiki bar so you can sit outside.
Yeah. Jazz at 5 at the top of the Capitol Square. I forget what night that is. I'll have to look that up. I think it might be Tuesdays at 5.
There's always First Fridays somewhere.
Yep. The Centennial Garden was one of the other gardens I was going to mention, which is on the UW campus. They do jazz on Sundays, Sunday nights. You can go for free. So music is everywhere in the summer. here.
Yeah, I mean, even like the little coffee shop down the street from my office at Twisted Grounds, they do music, I think, on Fridays and Sundays.
Oh, I saw that. I was just in there last week.
Yeah, and it's just so fun. They just have this little garden outside, and it's just, I mean, they always bring in different bands. So, I mean, you just can't go wrong between the festivals, the live music. If you like to get outside, those are amazing things to do.
And fairs. I mean, Dane County has their socks coming up early July. So, I mean, even if you can't find it in Madison, the surrounding areas or counties typically have it. Milwaukee, of course, is not that far away, 90 minutes to 2 hours, pending where you want to be in the city. And Chicago, pending traffic, could be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, pending where you come across. But if Madison doesn't have it, somebody somewhere does, whether it's smaller acts, larger acts, or you just happen to need something a certain time of year.
And if you want something quieter by yourself, so my significant other is crowd averse, so we tend not to go to the festivals, but kayaking, right? We got Brittingham boats, we got Wingra, super fun. These are also things you can bring your dog to, which I always am looking for dog friendly things. Now Rufus can't go in a boat because he's terrified of water, but Brittingham and Wingra also have like full moon paddles if you want to do that. They used to do an ice cream
They
float.
do s'mores too.
Okay, so I haven't done that.
That
The
was
one
one I did.
that I didn't understand was the hamburger
The
one.
burger, the grill out on the lake.
But just listen to me. So when you're kayaking, your hands are getting wet, and the water's kind of grimy. Like at least with the ice cream, you had a dish. Like, do you want to be grabbing onto like your burger with wet hands? Like that kind of, I'm sorry, that kind of grosses me out a bit. So I haven't done the burger one, but that is one of their famous events that they do. So that's fun. But I was just thinking of what else you might do by yourself.
We tried the s'more. We did the s'mores one, the full moon s'mores one last year. But that was same, like, cause you
have to grab onto the
It's so
s'more,
cool
too.
though, because you're like in your kayak and you got it. They have the fire on the middle of the lake, so you're kind of going over with your stick with all the. But it's because the scenery is so pretty. You know, you have a little bit of a view of the Capitol. You have, it's just kind of it's peaceful because you don't have to be around the group in any of those. You know, even on some of those group nights, you can kind of go off on your own.
Right.
And they have 3 locations too, but I find that I enjoy Wingra because you don't have to watch out for motorized boats.
I agree.
And so, super peaceful. The ability to be able to have special events there. Some of the other locations are just fabulous too, pending where you're at. But for me, I just like not really having to worry or watch, or like I can lay back in my kayak and not have to be aware as much of my surroundings.
Yes. Yep.
One thing I want to try too that I just haven't, that's on my Madison bucket list, is the log rolling that's over there on Wingra.
I've watched it.
Yeah.
I have not done it. But.
Yeah, to learn how to log roll, I just think that that's super fascinating and something that I've lived on the East Coast and I lived in Denver, and I just never have seen a place that offers log rolling. So I'll let you know how fast I go in the water, but that is kind of on my bucket list for this summer to go over there and attempt and do. But
Can we come?
Maybe we'll do a little filming to add, right?
A little video.
We can do a little video and add it to the end of one of our
We love
podcasts.
that. Yes, we'll be there to support you.
All right,
Even if
that's a
it's just
promise.
two.
That's a promise.
Yeah.
We're gonna check off your bucket list all together.
See how well it goes. But that's one thing I definitely want to try out. And you have a boat that you go out on.
Oh yeah, I love the water, and I love that Madison you can get to all of the lakes, you know, just in one vessel, right? I mean, you can go from Lake Mendota to Monona to Wabisa. You can go everywhere, and it's just. And there's always a different event going on. That's what I mean. Like, you could be at Memorial Union listening to some music, and you could turn around and come over to Monona and have 3 other options.
Yeah.
You know, to stop and places to stop and just even get in the water. So that's if I had to prefer to spend my weekend, it'd be bike around the lake in Monona and get out on the lake and listen to some music and just enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
Mine would be getting out and walking out to like Frochi Point or Picnic Point. So
Oh,
I just
Picnic
like going,
Point's beautiful.
Yeah, I just love going for walks out by water. It doesn't matter which body of water, but that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, Picnic Point is beautiful. I really like
What's
that.
are you a water sign?
I'm a Scorpio.
You are.
Mm-hmm. Does that matter?
No.
I don't like to be in the water. I like to be by the water.
Yeah, well, I know I'm a Pisces, and Katie's a Pisces. But I was going to say, I always feel like the water for me, for whatever reason, it just gives me less anxiety, regardless of where it's at. Even if it's something that it's just a fountain that's running and I'm putting my hands around it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a river is
I find it very grounding to be near it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so maybe that's why we all, the water takes it down a notch.
Yeah. Well, anything else?
Oh, I could go on and on and on, but maybe we'll save that for another one.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we ought to say cheers to our new mugs.
And thank you to our 15 subscribers.
And our 15 subscribers. Yes. Thanks for joining us on It's Like That.